Well, just a few things to share with you in today's report. For starters, a VP shortlist for Donald Trump has just been leaked out by the mainstream media. Now, I'm going to show you those list of 8 candidates, and I'm going to ask you to take it with a grain of salt because, again, this is not necessarily coming from the Trump campaign. So I'm still kind of a little bit skeptical, but who knows? It could be accurate. The other thing is the rumors are true about Donald J. Trump, and you're absolutely going to be floored, maybe even love what I'm going to share with you today. But let's start first with this VP list. I'm going to throw this up on the screen, the WashingtonPost.com. It says Trump's search for a VP candidate narrows with senators dominating the list. And you can see the 8 people right here. We have Marco Rubio, J.D. Vance, Tim Scott, North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum, and then, of course, we have Ben Carson, Tom Cotton, Brian Donalds, and Elise Stefanik. Now, my least favorite on there, I'm not a big fan, obviously, of Marco Rubio. I really hope he does not pick Marco Rubio if he is on the list. Elise Stefanik, she's, I don't like her either. They are my 2. I don't want them picked at all. Now, if I have to pick from these people, the ones that I like would be J.D. Vance, and then also Tom Cotton, and then Ben Carson. Those would be my top picks. Now, there's other lists that have come out as well with Tom Cotton not even on there, which is still, makes me a little bit more skeptical. But if I were to pick anybody in there, my pick may be different than your pick. I would go with J.D. Vance. But quite frankly, none of them are at the top of my list for who I really wanted. I would have loved Ron DeSantis or even Vivek. I know some people don't like Vivek. But that's where I kind of stand. But I do like J.D. Vance. I think if that's the case, he could be a pick. And I can't wait to hear your picks in the comments section. But with that, let's get into this dirty little rumor that's true about Donald J. Trump. But before I do, just a quick break from my sponsor. If you suffer from any kind of pain, please listen to this message. As we age, aches and pains are natural, and we're all looking for ways in which we can relieve that pain without addictions and without side effects. And that is where a pioneering medical scientist, Clint Winters, comes in. Now, you may have seen this world-renowned health expert featured in the national media as he's unveiled a natural pain reliever that is taking the world by storm. I'm talking about Canalidine, the 100% drug-free way to get full body pain relief. Canalidine has become the go-to pain reliever for millions of Americans, including myself, by the way, and I freaking love it. And not to mention hundreds of professional athletes. And the best news is Canalidine has no documented side effects after 14 years of extensive research. Now, if you want to try it out, I want to encourage you guys, go directly to trycano.com/Haven. You can also click the link in the description box or click that more button if you're on your cell phone. But make sure you check out Clint's informative report on American-made Canalidine. And right now, you can try it for less than $1 per day, risk-free for 90 days. So make sure you guys check that out. Beat that pain that you have. All right, back to the broadcast. So let's get into this dirty little rumor about Donald J. Trump, who, well, quite frankly, has been talking and has talked about jailing his 2 biggest rivals, Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton. And rightly so, by the way. Both of these people have done something to break the law. In fact, Hillary Clinton sharing classified documents on her server, hitting her freaking phones with a hammer, hiding evidence. This is all stuff worthy of jail time. If they have committed a crime, they should go to jail. And I believe that this is exactly what Donald Trump is talking about here. But of course, the mainstream media twists it and makes it like Donald Trump is going to go start arresting everybody. It's just that part of it is a rumor. But this one right here, here's what went down. Stars and Stripes. Trump says he'd have every right to seek prosecutions of his political foes. Now, the article goes on to state that former President Donald Trump said Wednesday that seeking prosecution of his political opponents would be wrong, but that he also would have every right to do so if reelected. It goes on. Former President Donald Trump said Wednesday that seeking prosecutions of his political opponents would be wrong, but that he also would have every right to do so if reelected. The latest way Trump has lashed out since a jury convicted him on blah, 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 34 fake felony counts of falsifying fake business records in New York hush money case last week. Whatever. That's a whole sham trial. In an interview with Fox News on Wednesday night, host Sean Hannity asked Trump about those who have suggested Trump would seek retribution through the criminal justice system if he returned to the White House. So number one, they're wrong. It has to stop because otherwise we're not going to have a country, Trump said before baselessly accusing President Biden and his family of crimes because they are criminals. Look, when this election is over, based on what they've done, I would have every right to go after them, he added. And it's easy because it's Joe Biden and you see all the criminality. Now, I'm going to hit pause before I get into Joe Biden's little sick and sad response on that. But here's the thing. He has our criminal justice, so-called justice system is not justice. They went after Donald Trump for technically, if anything, a misdemeanor crime, which was over the statute of limitations. They couldn't go after him anymore for a misdemeanor. They took a misdemeanor over the statute of limitations and turned it into 34 freaking felonies, called him guilty, and then pretend like this is actually justice in our country. There is nothing just about what went on with Donald J. Trump and this corrupt crime. Therefore, if the justice system can do this to Donald J. Trump, then we better damn well get some DAs out there to start prosecuting these freaking Democrats out there who are committing crimes, not the ones who are not. Okay, leave them alone. We want to get the ones who have, like Hillary Clinton, who again smashed her freaking phones with a hammer, not to mention sharing classified information on her server, and Joe Biden, if he's found guilty by a court of working there with the Communist Party and giving up information, then he too should have a criminal case against him. But all these Democrats are getting away scot-free while they're getting Republicans, arresting Republicans and everything else. So I don't think that Donald Trump should water it down, so to speak. I think we need somebody in there to make our justice system even, because if we don't start turning like on like with the Democrats regarding the justice system, then they're going to continue to do it, and all of us are going to be in Schitt's Creek. We're all going to be up Schitt's Creek. But here's what Joe Biden had to say. Remember, Joe Biden's the guy that is literally arresting his political enemy, even though he says, I'm not involved in this. Yes, he is. All of them, all of these freaking judges and stuff met at the White House before it even went down. But in response to the interview, Biden's re-election campaign released a statement that suggested Trump had clearly snapped and asserted his candidacy was being more dangerous each day. Oh my goodness. Tonight in prime time, America saw Donald Trump consumed by rage, oh my goodness, and visibly rattled following his felony conviction. Biden's spokesperson, Michael Taylor, said Donald Trump is so consumed with personal grievances that he does not care who he hurts as long as it benefits Trump himself, which is just a straight BS line, because I honestly, Trump has been very clear. This isn't a personal grievance. This is a grievance with the justice system that is wrongly persecuting people for their political beliefs. And that is what we have to fix in this country. And that's what we have to go after. And I do believe the rumors about Donald Trump fixing the justice system will be true. He has to get the right people in there, put somebody as a good attorney general. We're really going to need a good attorney general who will go through the CIA, the FBI, the DOJ, or whatever they need to do and clean house of all the people who are biased, leftist bias, right people. Who cares? Get them out. Let's clean house and let's get a good system in there. And of course, start electing and putting in some good judges. Now, he also went on to say this in that Sean Hannity interview. Hannity also asked whether Trump would pledge to restore equal justice if reelected, tactically validating Trump's false claim that his prosecutions were politically motivated. You have to do it, but it's awful. And I do believe that he needs to restore equal justice. Amen. And that's exactly what I'm asking for in this report. Nothing more, nothing less. We want an equal justice system in this country. And right now, they treated Donald Trump, the January 6ers, Michael Flynn, and now even Steve Bannon, who they're bringing to jail for not showing up for a subpoena or whatever. And yet, there's been countless Democrats who have done the same thing that aren't going to jail. This is not an even justice system. Now, he did come along and say this about Hillary Clinton. Here's what he said, and this is what Donald Trump said. Wouldn't it be terrible to throw the president's wife and the former Secretary of State, think of it, the former Secretary of State, but the president's wife into jail? Trump told Newsmax. But they want to do it, Trump said, appearing to refer to his opponents. So, it's terrible, a terrible path that they're leading us to. And that's very possible that it's going to happen to them. In other words, they want to, and this is exactly what they're doing to us. And so at some point, he says, it's going to happen to them. That would be if we have an equal and fair justice system, then our justice system can go after the actual criminals, no matter your stature, no matter how high up the ladder you go. If this is a real and legit justice system. Now, he also went on talk to Dr. Phil. Now, I don't like Huffington Post, not the best source, because a lot of what they say is just BS. But anyway, Trump says revenge can be justified in the latest threat to his political enemies. And by the way, no, I'm not going to get into that, but here's what he said. Former President Donald Trump reiterated his calls to punish his political enemies, and that's not what's going on here, by the way. He's not punishing his political enemies, but this is, again, Huffington Post, in a new interview that aired Tuesday, saying revenge can be justified following his conviction on all counts during his hush money trial last week. Trump spoke at length about his criminal indictments and his competing campaign for the presidency with Dr. Phil McGraw. At one point, McGraw said that if Trump returns to the White House, he would likely have so much to do to repair a country, he would not have time to get even. He expounded, well, revenge does take time, Trump replied, and sometimes revenge can be justified, Phil. I have to be honest, sometimes it can. And of course, Donald Trump's going to go arrest all his political enemies, and the mainstream media is running with that. That's a rumor. That's fake. That's fake news. If he was going to do that, obviously it would have happened the first time around, but hell no. Donald Trump doesn't have none of that in his playbook. They're breaking this out, acting like he's Hitler, acting like he's a dictator, yet exactly what they're blaming him of doing. This is exactly what Joe Biden is doing. He's jailing his political opponents as we speak. Steve Bannon is going to be going to jail anytime soon. I don't remember the exact date. We had Michael Flynn in jail. We had a lot of his campaign managers. We have the courts literally harassing Donald Trump, his managers, his lawyers, all the people surrounding him, all the January 6ers. And then we've got Joe Biden responding and acting as if Donald Trump is a tyrant, when, again, he's doing all of it right in front of our faces. And if Joe Biden gets another 4 years in presidency, many of us are going to be shut down, harassed by IRS, harassed by FBI. It's going to be sicked on all of us because there will be no corrections done in these justice departments. They'll stay as is, and they'll get way more biased and way more one-sided and way more unequal than they are right now. Unfortunately, the way that Joe Biden is taking this country, we have to start waking up some of our Republican DAs to say, hey, why can't, if they can go after Trump, let's go after some of the people in our leadership who have committed crimes, right? So anyway, we have to start electing the right people in, and so we'll use the ballot box to our advantage. Anyhow, I love all of you. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Lisa Haven signing out.